How's it going today? So today I wanted to talk about a couple violins that I'm planning to purchase. Actually, I just did purchase one of them, and I'd like to play a few of them for you. So where I got these violins from is JR Judd's, which is a really great violin shop in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It's family owned, really wonderful people, and they have all kinds of beautiful old violins with really good price ranges. So they'll really work with you. You can test violins, $25 for 2 weeks to actually take a violin out of the shop and test it out and see how you like it. So that's what I did actually for 2 weeks. I was testing 3 violins, cut it down to 2, had a really hard time making up my mind, and this morning I was going to go ahead and take them back. The weather was really bad, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and buy the one that I like. The wonderful thing about buying a violin is that it's not it's a really good investment. It's not going to go down. You're not going to lose money as long as you make sure that you insure your violin. Maybe in 5 years you'll want to buy a better violin. You just go trade it into a good violin shop. Make sure that you go to someone reputable and trade it in and get a better violin, or get a different sound, or whatever you want to do. But it's not like a car. It's not like you drive away from the violin shop and immediately your violin depreciates in value. It's just not like that. You can find a violin that's new, or 100 years old, or 200 years old, and they're still just as beautiful, no matter what your preference is. So the violins I tried, one is German, 2 are French. The German one is here, and it's actually from 1750. So it's the oldest violin I've ever held, I believe. It's a beautiful, beautiful instrument. And I'll play just a few notes for you. So, really great instrument, very full, nice sound. I really, really like this violin. I also like the history behind it. I think it would be really cool to find out more about it. Let's see. I actually have the notes with all of the names of these violins. Let me go grab that 1 second. So that violin is an 18th century Klingenthal German violin. So Klingenthal is the maker. Very, very nice. So, love that one. Second one is a Parisian violin. Beautiful, beautiful artwork on here. There's a nice little fleur-de-lis on the tailpiece. Of course, I care about looks, so that was appealing to me. Beautiful pegs here with a little bit of gold on those. And just an all-round, very, very pretty instrument. So the sound is different on this one. It's more, it's softer. It almost is like, the first one I played is more like a strong animal, and this one to me is more like a ballerina. Very soft, very sweet. The interesting thing about it, it was actually 1938 Paris. So of course Paris would have been occupied by the Nazis at that point. So it's an interesting history. I'm sure it saw some things that I'm glad I haven't seen in this life. And this one is, let's see, 1938 Georges Apparu, Meyer Court, 1938 violin. So, yes. Oh, the previous one I played was actually Johann Christian Schlosser. That's the actual violin maker from the town of Klingenthal, I believe. So this is the Parisian 1938 French violin. Let's see. Very nice violin. It almost sounds like there's a mute on it to me. And especially being in an apartment building, I do often like being a little softer when I play. Sometimes I use my mute, actually most times I use my mute when I'm practicing, just not to bother people. And this violin I like because it doesn't have a very strong, harsh sound. But I wasn't in love with it the first time I like it more than most that I tried, but I'm not totally in love with it. It's not a violin I think I'll have forever, but I do like its history, and I do like its sweetness, and I like its softness. So the third violin. Not as crazy about this one as the first two. Beautiful, beautiful violin as well. This is a Leon Mujinou workshop violin, also made in France, and this is 1921. So also a very interesting time. Love France. So what I've noticed, French violins are kind of, I don't necessarily want to say this, but you know, everyone's opinion is their opinion, so I'll say it. What I feel like is the German violins are fuller in sound, kind of like a Cabernet, very, very full-bodied. But actually at the time period, like in the 1800s and so on, they were more considered today's Chinese violins, so a little bit more rough craftsmanship. But to me, that gives them kind of that richer sound. Who knows why? The Parisian violins I've tried, or the French violins, have in general been more nasal sounding. Maybe you like the language, I don't know. But good violins, thought of as higher quality, but it really depends what you like. And to me, that's not necessarily a better sound than the German violins. And then, of course, the Italian violins are probably the violins you really want. Of course, Stradivarius, and those are Italian violin makers. But they passed a lot of their knowledge onto the French violin makers, so based on them. The violin I actually have is a Hong Kong violin. I've had that for almost 20 years, so my entire, basically, violin playing career. And it's a good violin. It really matters if you put good strings on it, and if you have a good bow, you can make any violin really sound good. Depends what you're doing with it. If you're playing professional orchestra, if you're a soloist, yeah, you want the best of the best. But you know what? Most soloists don't own their violins. They are loaned Stradivarius and things like that. So, you know, it is what it is. To me, at this point in my life, you know, I have worked really hard the past 10 years on my career. The violin I've worked at as well, but it comes in life, it's like, you know, it's worth it to me to invest a little bit in a hobby that I absolutely love, and I hope that it'll get me to practice a little bit more and play more. So that would be my opinion, especially since, you know, it's not something that, it's not like buying ski equipment, you know, it gets old and you have to replace it. Buying a violin, you're not going to have it get old and then have to replace it. It's good for your life, for your children's life, for your grandchildren's life. Like, buying a violin, and it'll actually only go up in value, probably. So you're definitely not losing money by buying a violin or a good instrument. So that's a nice thing. So on to the last violin. This one I'm not as big a fan of because it's even more nasal sounding. So I'll let you hear it. Sorry about that. A little auto-tune there. You get the gist, though. Now I understand why I picked all three of these violins to trial, because they're all beautiful. They all really are. So, which one do you think I chose at the end of the day? Because I did choose one of these. And I'd like to hear your comments, what you guys think about these different violins, and now I just encourage you to go to your local violin shop. And even if you're not necessarily planning on buying one right now, go and test them. Go see what you like. Test your ear. You know, it's okay to dream. So appreciate your time and look forward to the next video. Have a great day.